Cooler himself is new too, and notably, his name is not the obvious pun that you might think. Kozo Morishita was worried that the name actually was too obvious until he remembered that in his hometown dialect, people would say meshi demokura before eating, a regional dialect that means let's chow down. He then was okay with Kula being the name. Cooler's final form is a riff on the Predator design, with Frieza having featured a Xenomorph design from the Alien franchise. It was only natural to feature a design similar to the Predator somewhere, as the concept of a crossover between these two franchises, Predator and Alien, began all the way back in 1989. Now, you might be thinking, Predator 2, where we see the Xenomorph skull in the Predator spaceship at the end, was 1990, not 1989. But the Alien vs. Predator comic book series first debuted under the Dark Horse Comics banner in 1989, with the idea being credited to American comic book writer and artist Charles Warner, who has also worked on Moon Knight, Batman, Doctor Strange, Terminator, and is credited as the creator of the character Barbed Wire. To say this was in the overall pop culture zeitgeist at the time would be pretty accurate, as it bears out in both looking at dates and interviews and comments made in promotional materials around 1990 from the Alien and Predator franchises. Like, people were talking about it. And it's also just one of those things that if you were a kid at this time, you remember being talked about a lot, like at lunch and everything. People, who would win in a fight between an alien and a predator? Like, so it's not at all unreasonable to think that the reference was intentional on the part of Toriyama. And yes, it is Toriyama, not the general anime team, because all of these new characters in this movie were designed by Toriyama. And this time, as opposed to any design work he'd done in the past for movies or filler or things like that, he actually provided the anime team with full color designs